the solar polar. Snow patroller froze the block like it's North Dakota.
What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a good, I guess it might be Sunday when I drop this, so hope everybody's having a good Sunday, chilling out real good and eating some good food with the fam. I don't usually make videos like this, but Naja said she wants to tell the story about why we left the last place we lived. So, I mean, if you came to this channel because of the first dreadlock video I posted or for music, you might not know too much about what's going on with that situation, but it has a lot to do with me and my past, so we just thought it would probably be better if I just said it for myself as opposed to her trying to explain the situation the best she could entirely when it comes to my facets, I guess you could say. So I'm just here today to kind of clear the air. There's been a lot of misconceptions the whole time and we've been fairly vague about it all, but this is pretty much what happened. So I was charged with concealing a firearm, and in Florida that is a felony 3, so you can get up to 5 years in prison for it, not jail. And basically, I used to do shit on the interstate that I had to do at the time, or I felt I had to do, probably from like late 2013 to 2015. And I finally got caught slipping one day, basically. I was at a party in Tallahassee, the state capital. Somebody dropped, Xanax in the damn liquor. And I pretty much woke up in jail. They said they gave me a sobriety test. I passed it somehow, I don't know what to call what I was, but it was just not a pretty situation. But I ended up taking probation for it. I wish I didn't, but I did. So to this day, I still do a lot of work with the organization that helped me kind of get back on my feet. It's called Operation New Hope. So, I mean, if there's one of those in your town, I definitely suggest it to anybody if they just recently been convicted and kind of don't know what they're gonna do and they're just going through hardship, because it really gets rough out here. I went through the program and to this day I still do events to kind of show people the human side of what's often just labeled as a monster. So a lot of people that I know are still incarcerated, and a lot of people that I know have recently been released, and quite a few of them have let me know that they appreciate my contribution to that whole movement. So I'm gonna continue to do so. Somebody once told me that your average American can commit, I think it was 3 felonies a day, and I don't know if I'm buying that, but I know everybody's pirated music or watched a bootleg DVD or did a lot of things that could be looked at as federal crimes or felonies. So it just goes to show you, I mean, if people really did their research, just one little move, it could have been you. So when it's time to vote, really look into any law that can restore rights to nonviolent offenders, because what somebody's done once or a bad decision somebody's made shouldn't subject them to dangerous living conditions. So yeah, so when I met Naja, I was already on probation for concealing a firearm on the interstate, blase, long story, a lot of foolishness, but they put me on probation for it. I kind of didn't learn my lesson and I failed the drug test, which is why I'm not really too much into a lot of the extracurricular stuff. I'm sorry if the camera won't damn stay focused. All right, there we go, we're focused. But yeah, I failed the drug test and I pretty much was living on the run about a month or 2 after I met Naja. So I pretty much went from being entirely stable and on probation with the intent of wiping the charge off completely to thinking I was pretty much going to prison. So I had to live off the books, like real deal, ducked off, didn't really do anything traditionally, kind of just had to do what I had to do. A lot of people around her kind of looked at me as if I was just there, you know? They didn't know too much about what I was going through because we didn't think it was the best idea to be sharing it, you know? Naja was not only a good significant other to me at the time, but she really held me down like 100%. And eventually that kind of blew over. My probation got reinstated, but after that I was a felon. And I'm gonna get into kind of what that meant for me and what it means for a lot of people at the end of this video, but I kind of want to make this as brief as possible. I don't intend on cutting this video up. I just kind of want it to be like a talk, let you know. So after I got my probation reinstated, I had to go through a whole program to get a decent job because I was always financially stable and I intended to remain that way. However, the probation officer I had at the time was not interested in hearing about any of my entrepreneurial endeavors and how I had previously made a living or any of that stuff. She was a little bit hard-nosed, so I kind of just had to play the cards I was dealt. But another thing that came with that was the inability for me to be able to be on a lease, because at the time, this was about 2 years before felons got the right to vote again in Florida, thus kind of making it a lot more normal for them to be in better apartment situations or housing situations that don't have anything to do with them owning their property entirely. So this brings two big factors to the table, or at least it did for me. One being, most of the places, if not all of them in Florida that allow felons are not in the most ideal environments. And two being, I wanted to stay in the most ideal environment because it would be real easy, freshly on probation, freshly kind of rehabilitated mentally, to just do the right thing, to stay around positivity as opposed to living where I'd be able to live as a felon on the lease, undisturbed, or undisturbed by the office or whatever, because we weren't in a position to take on any type of mortgage. I had to repair a lot of things in my life, so I was never on any lease. I mean, shit. So it kind of left this benchmark, like, man, we got to do what we got to do. My probation officers got to know where I stay, or shit, they can violate me off rip right out the gate. So kind of just was living on a prayer and a whim. Shit, that's not how we wanted to live life. So we pretty much had to make the decision on if I'm gonna not be around Naja anymore, or if we're gonna stick to our guns and make something happen. And we chose the latter of the two, and I'm really glad we did. But at the same time, it was definitely not an easy experience, and it definitely raised more questions than answers for a lot of people. Like, what the fuck, y'all moving again? That's pretty much what everybody said, but we pretty much got it done without a hitch. It was very, very financially concerning at a point in time because we didn't know what we were gonna do, but everything kind of just fell into place. We just stayed positive. There's a little bit of law of attraction. And I mean, you're always gonna have your small hiccups in life, but it's kind of how you move forward from the negativity that defines you, not all the previous decisions that you made, just how you move forward from it. So I know I'm still kind of being vague about all the intricate details because it's really not important. What's really important is that people that don't commit violent crimes should not be exiled into violent situations or unstable environments, because it's just not good for the situation and it's not good for the soul. And it's just an easy way to get you back into your old ways. And I'm sorry, I just was not ready to go through all that. I have no interest in going to prison. I like my life, you know. I like food on the outside of jail and shit. And fucking life's too short. But I do think that everybody should try to really read into different laws where you live at, regardless of where that is, about restoring rights for people that have non-violent offenses that are felons, because everybody deserves the chance to make something happen with their life. And it's really not an easy thing. Like, getting a job's not easy. Being perceived isn't easy. And a lot of people love to say they don't care about what people think or whatever, but at the end of the day, sometimes the way people perceive you is how or why you might not be able to pay your bills if you're perceived in a certain light and people don't want to give you that chance. So really kind of just look into that stuff because it's really important. I think where I live right now, it takes about 10 years before that stuff kind of just dwindles out and people are ready to give you those type of chances. A lot can happen in 10 years. Shit, a lot can happen in 2 years, believe me. But that's pretty much a little bit of insight on what we were going through. I'm sorry if it was real brief, but shit, man, we're finally in a position where we don't have to hide it. We weren't really hiding it because I was ashamed of it or she was ashamed of it, but it was more or less just because the volatile living situation, you know. She's on the lease and her checks come from Google and have her YouTube name on it. It would have been nothing for people to do a little bit of research and see that I'm here all the time, you know. And I'm just very thankful that we made it that long without any hiccups, because right now it wasn't the worst thing to have to deal with. And I love to say that everything happens for a reason. You say it when it's good, you gotta say it when it's bad, and now we're in a better spot. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, everybody have a good day today. Stay positive and just be thankful that you don't have to deal with certain things. And before you make any fucking decision, really step back and think about how it could affect the rest of your life potentially. It's your boy. I'm out there, big. Be good.
Ain't a thing for the solar polar. Snow patroller froze the block like it's North Dakota.